folks, and welcome to another edition of An Hour with Bob. And we're going to do something a little different tonight, being it's the week of the Republican convention in Cleveland. And wasn't it a great thing Trump's wife did last night? She was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but I guess there was a mistake made. Somebody plagiarized. I don't think she did. I think somebody else did that to her, and by accident or on purpose, but it's too bad that it blew a nice presentation by her. She was flawless, absolutely flawless, and absolutely beautiful too. Anyway, we have our own beautiful young lady here tonight. I want to welcome Miss Rhode Island Outstanding Teen 2016, Kate DePetro, as Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, President Obama, and Bernie Sanders. Kate DePetro.
Hello, Bob. Thank you very much. Hello, my name is Donald Trump, and let me just start by saying that, quite frankly, this summer has just been fantastic. I mean, it's just been fantastic. But I have to admit, I do miss her. I miss her eyes. I miss her hair. I miss the cute way she greets me. I miss my dog. Isn't she cute? People come up to me and they say, Hillary, she looks just like that celebrity, Toto. And let me just start by thanking the people of Petco for not only introducing me to a man's best friend, but a woman's best friend as well. Michelle and I, and Malia and Sasha, we bought this dog for Christmas time as a gift to the girls. The dog loves Christmas time because there is a large tree in the White House for the American people to enjoy for the holiday season. Yes, I do love my dog. My dog is my best friend. He will eat anything I cook him. If I drop it on the floor, he will eat it. There is no 5-second rule in his world. People ask me, Bernie, what is he like? And I say, he eats. He whines. He puts his head out the window. He is just like an American boy. My dog loves to watch CNN with me. Though I think when I go downstairs, he switches the channel to Animal Planet. And I have one last piece of advice for all you American dog lovers. Take your dog out for a walk because it is free. Thank you and God bless America.
Kate DePetro, Miss Outstanding Teen 2016, and she'll be back with us in a little while. But right now, I got to introduce Dan Ray Jr. How you doing?
Hey, Bob. Tough act to follow there.
Yeah, huh? Isn't that interesting?
Wow, yeah.
Well, you can tell that her father's very political, huh?
He might be.
Her father.
He might be, and so is mine.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
I have nowhere near the impersonation abilities that she has. So that was phenomenal.
She was good. I like that.
Yeah.
I especially like the Bernie Sanders one.
Oh, fantastic.
She
Spot
hit
on.
that. She slammed that one.
She really
got
did.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, her father is John DePetro from WPRO. And your father is Dan Ray from WBZ in Boston, who I listen to quite often.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Yeah, my father is a longtime TV reporter and now a radio host up in Boston.
Now, where was he on? Was he on WBZ TV?
WBZ, yeah. So we did about 30 years with WBZ TV, and then transitioned over to the radio side in the last 8 or 9 years. So he's been with BZ for close to 4 decades, and I didn't have anywhere near his media genes, so I went in the baseball direction. But yeah, he's done very well for himself, and I'm going in the baseball direction now.
Now, how long have you been in baseball?
I've been in baseball 10 years.
Wow.
I started with the Red Sox when I was a freshman in college, and I was working as sort of a gopher, whatever they needed to be done, drive a player to the airport, clean out a supply closet. I did whatever they wanted me to do, and then when I graduated college, they brought me on full time. I worked with the Red Sox for a total of 9 years, and most recently with the Red Sox was chief of staff to Larry Lucchino, the president and CEO of the Red Sox.
Wow.
And then last year, after Larry bought the Paw Sox, he gave me an opportunity to come down here to Pawtucket and serve as general manager of the team. So I've been here with the Paw Sox for the last, I guess now coming up on 8 months, and it's been a great ride so far, and I'm enjoying myself.
Now, where are you from originally?
From Sherborne, Massachusetts, so a little town about half hour west of Boston. And Sherborne is sort of equidistant from both Fenway Park and McCoy Stadium. So as a kid, I'd come down to maybe 3 or 4 games at McCoy every year and go into Fenway Park 3 or 4 times. So I got a good taste of both the Fenway atmosphere and the McCoy atmosphere, and enjoyed them both.
Well, how are you enjoying Pawtucket, Rhode Island? Here we are. We're in Pawtucket.
We are in Pawtucket. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. We've had a good season. On the field, the team is playing well. It's a hard-fighting, scrappy bunch of guys. Off the field, we're having a good season. We've seen better crowds here at McCoy recently. You know, the first month and a half was tough with the weather.
The weather was terrible. April's terrible here.
April is, and
a lot of rain. It's an awful lot of rain.
A lot of cold. We have an expression, you know, opening day and wait for May. Well, unfortunately, we lost opening day because of rain, and then we had just a long stretch of cold and rain. But by the time the weather got better, you know, late May, early June, since that point, we've seen good crowds. We've seen enthusiasm. We've seen eagerness. The fireworks shows at McCoy are obviously a huge staple.
Aren't they great?
Oh, they're
greatest.
They're fantastic. So those have been big. Some of the other giveaways, the promotions we've had. We had a free Tom Brady night to celebrate number
that was
12
funny.
and show
it
our
didn't
support
work, though, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it didn't. Yeah, we lent our support, but in the grand scheme of things, unfortunately, didn't quite work as we might have hoped.
As a matter of fact,
fans.
didn't what was it, Buffalo or something?
Buffalo, yeah. So Buffalo called me up, actually. Their general manager, the Buffalo Bison's GM, called me up the morning after we announced it and said, you know, Dan, we saw your promotion, but we're going to come up with one of our own. So they had a Keep Brady Suspended night, which was great. It launched it into this, you know, national and international stratosphere. You had Sports Illustrated and Sports Center talking about it. So it was a really good way to drown up some excitement and get people talking about it. So, you know, things like that. We've tried to have fun with it. We've tried to enjoy ourselves, realizing that minor league baseball is at its heart, you know, a fun, family-friendly venue. You're supposed to certainly care about the baseball, but also offer some things that are outside the baseball realm and do some cool things in a promotional sense. So we've had some fun with that. We've done some kooky things, some different things, while staying true to the ultimate mission of the team, which is to be a good family-friendly atmosphere.
Right.
Folks.
You had a couple other weird ones.
We had a few. I mean, we did a political primary day where we had different candidates in giant heads dress up. So we had a Trump head, we had a Hillary head. They ran around the field, knocked into each other. You know, we did that. We've done some in-game promotions. One promotion where we, in between innings, throw up 3 balls to a fan. So if they catch the first ball, they win a box of Burger King French fries. If they catch the second ball, shot out of a slingshot, their section wins a box of Burger King French fries. And the third one comes out of a cannon. And they catch that, the whole ballpark wins fries. So that's a huge hit, you know, things like that that are just.
But how hot is it shot out of the cannon?
Oh, it's we shoot it pretty much straight up. We give it to our mascot.
Oh, it's not Adam.
It's not Adam. There's a little bit of an arc to it, so the person can get out under it and sort of try to gauge it. So things like that, you know, that are a little different, a little kooky, but it's minor league ball, and we have an expression that if you're in the minor leagues and you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. So we're trying to have fun with things and do something a little different this year.
Now, how's it going with the fan base? Because I know they were a little mad at what happened with the almost Providence.
With the
thing.
almost Providence, yeah, you know, and I was with the Red Sox at the time last year when the Providence campaign was underway. You know, we made a run at the Providence site. There was a great site there on the river. Jim Skeffington, our late president of the team, had a vision and I think a way of getting there and making that work. And tragically, Jim passed away last year unexpectedly.
Right.
And so that really derailed that project, which, you know, had some great potential and great possibility. So then when I came aboard, you know, as a newcomer to Rhode Island, quite frankly, I'd been in Boston. You know, Larry's a newcomer to Rhode Island. Dr. Charles Steinberg, our president, he's a newcomer to Rhode Island. Nice guy. You know,
I talked with him. I had a long chat with him last year.
But so the three of us collectively and the new blood realized that we have first and foremost a marketplace to learn. We need to get to know the fans. We need to, you know, recognize the great veterans in the front office like Mike Tamburo, Mike Gwynn, Bill Wanless, guys who have been around and know the marketplace so well. So we first wanted to come in and, again, you know, reach out to the fans, show that we're here, show that we want to be a good, active member of the community, and do some good things, have some fun with it, and try to learn something, and, you know, then see what the longer-term future holds. But in the interim, we want to be good corporate citizens and do a good job with the baseball team that we have.
Yeah, and like you said, you got a good product. It's a great product, and
I've
always said it's the best deal in baseball.
It's a fantastic
deal.
deal.
In sports.
It's a fantastic deal. I mean, you come to a game and you pay $9 or $13 for a ticket. The parking is free. The concessions are reasonably priced, so we know it's a great value. Again, we know that Ben Mondor and Mike Tamburo and the crew there over the years built this culture of affordability and warmth and hospitality, and so we need to carry that forward and continue to show the value proposition while maybe introducing again some new things, some new ideas, but staying true to that core focus of ours.
Now I heard something about bringing down these trucks, these food trucks too, down to the field. They're doing something like that. You doing something?
We've talked about food trucks. We've talked about different events at the ballpark. We realize that a minor league baseball team plays 72 home games in a given season, but that means you have 280 other days to do other things, other events. So we have a wrestling event coming up this Saturday at the ballpark.
Really?
We're going to have a ring out on home plate with Sting, the great wrestler, not the singer, but the wrestler.
I know
Sting,
who you mean, yeah.
Lex Luger, and some other big names in the
my
wrestling
God.
world. So that'll be fun on Saturday, and we're trying to do some different things too.
That's this Saturday?
This coming Saturday, the 23rd of July. So we're going to have that on Saturday. We have a great Magic Johnson celebrity softball game coming up on August
that's
the
right,
8th.
that's right.
With just a fantastic roster of celebrities who come in for that. So we're trying to do.
The singer does that.
He does Smokey Robinson and Sugar Ray Leonard and Doc Rivers.
And the local singer,
Jeffrey Osborne.
Jeffrey Osborne.
Yeah, he hosts it and does a fantastic job. So we have that. So we're trying to use the park for more than just baseball. Realize that you can have 72 great baseball games a year, but you can also introduce some other events and things that work well and resonate. So we're looking forward to doing that.
You must have heard a number of years ago they had some big names there.
They did, yeah. I mean, Kareem, Magic Johnson's been there consistently. So
No. But I mean singers.
Oh, singers.
Singers.
Yeah.
They had Bob Dylan was there.
I heard that. Yeah.
They had who's the guy from Michigan there? Come on, help me out.
They had
here.
Willie Nelson, I know. I think they had they've had a good, and we were trying to bring the concerts back. I don't know if we'll have a concert this year or maybe in 2017. But we definitely Mellencamp, yeah. So we do definitely want to introduce concerts the way that we did at Fenway. Frankly, I was at Fenway for 10 years there, and we had concerts. We had hockey. We had ski slope.
Hockey game,
we had a hockey game. We had a football game. We had a soccer game. So in a similar vein, we want to try to use the ballpark here for other events beyond just baseball, whether they're concerts, whether it's other sports. Use it as a full year-round venue as much as you can.
Right. Because everybody, I've been going there all my, since it's been there. I was going there when it was a Cleveland Indians.
In
you know that?
Yeah.
You know that?
Before it's Red Sox days.
There was a double A Cleveland Indian team had that field before the Pawtucket Red Sox.
I mean, it's got great history. It's coming up, I think, next year will be its 75th anniversary. So you know that there's a lot of history embedded in the place. The walls are lined with history from over the years. The great
Think of the players that have been there. Freddie Lynn and Freddie Lynn and
Jim
Rice came from there the same year.
Same year. We actually coming up next Friday night, the 29th of July, we are inducting the first class of the Paw Sox Hall of Fame, actually. So we're going to have Jim Rice and Wade Boggs there.
They're going to show up?
They're going to show up there, as well as Madeline Mondor, the widow of Ben Mondor. So they'll be there as the newest inductees of the Paw Sox Hall of Fame, the first ever class. We recognize that history. We realize there's a way to celebrate that history.
Sure.
And to really, demonstrate whether you're, a person who's been coming there for years or you're younger and you're just learning about it. We have this great culture here and this great history, so let's celebrate it in the way that's appropriate.
And of course, they have the longest game.
The longest game, the 33-inning game, and what a cool piece of team history that is. We have a wall actually at the ballpark that has the full line score, so you see all the zeros across the wall.
I used to own a restaurant in Pawtucket, and a restaurant/pub, and one of my customers, regular customers, was the guy that drove in the winning run.
Really?
Yep.
No kidding.
Yep.
I mean, that's Pawtucket for you. That's a.
And I think he still lives in Pawtucket. Dave Koza.
Dave Koza, yeah. We've talked about maybe having him at the ballpark at some point soon.
Yeah, very nice guy.
Nice guy. I've heard great things.
Really
I haven't met him, but I've heard great things about him. And again, that's such an integral part of team history. So to have that piece of history with us and a guy like Dave, that's a special part of the Paw Sox culture.
What two Hall of Famers played in that game?
I know Wade did.
Who's the other one?
I think on the other team you had, correct me if I'm wrong, Cal Ripken.
That's right.
Was on the Red Wings.
And by the way, when I say what two third basemen, that's when you just throw people off because everybody thinks Cal Ripken was a shortstop.
As a shortstop,
but he came up as a third baseman.
He did, and then
he's 6'4".
A big guy. I mean, he was the first of the big shortstops.
I interviewed him several years ago.
He was, and the story I've heard is that Earl Weaver his
My favorite manager of all time.
one of the greatest, if not the greatest managers, said, no, a big shortstop can play. You know, if you're big,
Cover
it doesn't
more.
matter. You can cover more ground. You have
Right.
bigger lengths. You have
Plus,
bigger
he had
steps.
a hell of an arm, unbelievable
Great arm.
arm.
And then after him, you get all the guys like Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter, who were big shortstops. So Cal was sort of the first of the big shortstops. But you're right, came up as a third baseman, and then at the end of his career, went back to third base in the
That's
last
right.
few years with the Orioles. So that's a great factoid that people, a lot of time, if you hear 2 third basemen, you don't put 2 + 2 together.
Right, yeah. And again, I am an Oriole.
That's okay. If you're an Oriole fan, that's...
I've been an Oriole fan all my life, actually. When the Red Sox are not playing the Orioles, I root for the Red Sox. But when they're playing the Orioles, I root for the Orioles.
We can tolerate that. You know, the Orioles are a great franchise, and that's actually where, you know, Larry Lucchino got his
That's
start
right.
as their
That's
president
right.
and CEO.
That's still, I think, the best park
It's a
in the
beautiful
United
ballpark.
States.
And Larry came in the late 80s, early 90s and built Camden Yards. Charles Steinberg, our president, who I mentioned, he's a Baltimore native who got his start
Oh,
with
I
the
didn't know
Orioles
that.
as well with Larry. So there's a great, and Charles actually was the statistician to Earl Weaver. So Earl Weaver was the first of the managers to really use statistics in a new way.
Exactly.
And looking at, you know, the way...
Well, that's one of the reasons why I liked him. That's one of the reasons why I followed the Baltimore Orioles was the stats and the fact that they emphasized defense.
They did.
They had at one time, I think they had 6 Golden Glovers on the field.
That, you know, Brooksy at third base, Belanger, you
Yep.
know, who couldn't hit
Well,
great, but
and they had 2 second basemen, Green, and then they had Davy Johnson.
Davy Johnson,
both
yeah.
of them,
Yeah.
both of them won Golden Gloves.
Great fielders.
Bull Powell at first base. The
Yeah.
catcher was a Golden Glover, and the center fielder,
Paul Blair.
Paul Blair was the best.
Fantastic,
If he
yeah.
could hit better, he would have been the greatest of all time.
But they
He
had
was
this great
phenomenal.
defensive structure, and I love hearing about Belanger. I think one game Earl actually had, I forget the guy, but he had a guy, designated hitter, come in, lead off the first, you know, or playing shortstop, a guy who was a designated hitter, but in the lineup he was listed as a shortstop.
Right.
So he took 1 at bat.
And then he put
Belanger in
Belanger in,
right
yeah.
after this guy, you know, just to
Exactly.
get that 1 at bat at the top of the game. So Earl was a revolutionary thinker.
was unbelievable.
And Charles learned under him. So whenever someone says I'm an Orioles fan, I have a soft spot too. Even though I love the Red Sox, you know, they are a sort of spiritual cousin to us based on Larry's experience and Charles' experience, and a great franchise back in the 70s, 80s. The pitching staff, the defense, like you mentioned.
No team has ever had 4 20-game winners like the Orioles, and they did it twice.
That's true. That's true.
In the same year, they had 4 20-game winners on the same staff.
They have Palmer,
Yep.
McNally,
Cuellar,
and Dobson.
that was one time. And who was the other time? Only one was changed. Dobson was changed.
Dobson was changed.
Cuellar, McNally, and Palmer was both times.
Flanagan?
No, the good guess, though, he came later. Flanagan came later. He did win 20 games, but not on that team. Began with a P.
P. I'm stumped.
Phoebus.
Famous. Wow. That's another great trivia question.
Yeah.
If anyone gets all 5 of those names right, that's a true baseball fan. So you know your stuff.
And by the way, I hosted Toys for Tots. In fact, I almost accidentally wore the shirt today because I didn't want to dress up. I usually dress with a suit and tie.
It's okay. We're in the
I said,
baseball business. We
That's
dress
right,
down in the
that's
baseball
right,
business.
That's right. And I've been hosting the Toys for Tots telethon every year at the Warwick Mall with 23 seasons. And I get toys from all over the place. And for years I was getting toys from a company in Stoughton, Massachusetts, Franklin Sports. Cases and cases of baseball, football, basketball, soccer balls. And one year, one of the big shots in there, he knew I was an Oriole fan. So he got me a catcher's mitt signed by the 1983 MVP of the World Series. Do you remember who that was? You wouldn't remember because you're not old enough to remember that.
83.
The Baltimore Orioles won the World Series.
Yeah, they
in
won the World.
83.
It wouldn't have been Elrod.
Nope.
Hendricks.
Nope.
83. Catcher.
Yeah. Vaudeville. Think of vaudeville.
Vaudeville. Oh.
He was recognized as a guy. Remember they had a rain out in Fenway Park one time, and he was sliding around the basement.
Yeah. Who would this? It's on the tip of my tongue.
R.D.
Oh, Dempsey.
That's right.
Dempsey. That's
Rick Dempsey.
That's a great. I didn't realize he was the '83.
I went to
World Series.
Boston and I interviewed him about 10 years ago when he was vying to be the Boston manager.
Yeah, that's right. He went into a very successful coaching and managing career. That's fantastic. Yeah, '83 World Series MVP. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Very cool.
I still have that. catcher's
That's a
mitt.
great
It's never been
possession, yeah.
used even.
I wouldn't use it. I'd put it
it's
out.
never been used.
Put it on a mantle and leave it there. That's
Yep.
great memorabilia. My
Yep,
goodness.
but it was pretty cool that they handed that to me on
That's
on
awesome.
stage. At
That's
the,
cool.
at
Gotta
the
keep
Toys
that
for
one.
Tots. Yeah,
That's-
absolutely.
And Toys for Tots is a great program, so kudos for your work with that.
Now, this year's team, well, who's the manager over there this year?
We have a manager named Kevin Bowles. And Bowlesy's in his 3rd year with us.
Right.
Great guy. His father, John Bowles, was a longtime scout and manager. He managed the Marlins, a longtime executive. And so Kevin followed in his father's path into the baseball world, and is just a great guy who has done tremendous work for us. He's a manager who really gets the most out of his players. And we've had a team that, frankly, has had a lot of turnover because we've sent a lot of guys to the Red Sox. And that's our job. That's what we're here for. We're here to send players to the Red Sox when they need them. But we've had a lot of turnover, and yet Kevin has kept a really steady focus.
And still winning.
I mean, we're above 500. We have a lot of guys who started the year in Double-A, and they're coming up and they're jumping right into the lineup and producing as much as we need them to. So it really goes to Kevin, our pitching coach Bob Kipper, our hitting coach Rich Gedman, who you would of course remember from the Red Sox years, and our bench coach Bruce Crabb. The 4 of them do a terrific job with these guys. And the team itself is a really good, likable bunch of guys. They play hard. They play the game the right way. If you come out to the ballpark, you're going to see, in addition to the off-field stuff we try to do, you're going to see good baseball on a night-in and night-out basis. Good fundamentals, good base running, and that goes
That's
to
big. That's right. I'm a big baseball guy. All sport. That's my favorite sport.
And you can see it, guys hitting cutoff men, guys being aggressive on the base paths but not being stupid, guys working the count well and not chasing balls outside the zone. And that, again, it goes to the players. Certainly they're the ones out there performing, but it's also on the manager and the coaches to get the players into that mindset. And they've done a great job of just keeping these guys focused. And whoever it is in the lineup on a given day, those 9 guys are ready to go and ready to perform. And that really goes to Kevin and his staff and what they've done.
Well, and they a few of the guys have gone up, made it to the majors already.
We've had a number of guys. I think the last number at my count, the total number of guys who have worn a Paw Sox uniform this year is well into the 50s. So that means we basically had almost 2 rosters so far this year. Because we sent a lot of guys up.
This year?
Already this year. Already. Because we've sent guys. You've seen.
Isn't Bogart?
Bogarts didn't start with us. Bogarts was with us a couple of years ago.
Okay.
But we've had guys. Bogarts was with us not so long ago. Mookie Betts was with us not so long ago. Jackie Bradley. Has been fantastic.
I interviewed him when he first started.
Great guy. A sweetheart of a guy. And he at this time last year was with us in Pawtucket. And playing well, but waiting for his opportunity. He seized his opportunity. So that's the beauty of baseball, is that one day you can be playing for the Paw Sox, the next day you're in Fenway Park beating the New York Yankees. So we have, I think, a good development system. Dave Dombrowski, our president of baseball operations, and Mike Hazen.
He was a relief pitcher, wasn't he?
Dombrowski, that's a different Dravecki, I think you're thinking of.
No.
Dombrowski, I don't think Dombrowski played ball professionally.
No.
But he was a good amateur athlete.
There was a
Dombrowski.
Yeah.
There might have been.
He was a relief pitcher.
Not this one. So Dave Dombrowski is our president of baseball operations, who was a good amateur player. And then a couple of other guys, Mike Hazen, our GM, and Ben Crockett, our farm director. They're up in Boston working hard, and we have a good, pipeline infrastructure here that exists, and we try to do the best we can to get players ready to go up to the major leagues and contribute to the Red Sox.
Well, that's kind of going back to the basics and getting away from a little bit, away from the free agent stuff.
Yeah, you have to. As much as free agency is a part of modern day baseball and modern day sports, if you don't produce internally, if you don't have guys coming up through your system on a consistent basis, you're not going anywhere. You can buy 20 free agents if you try, but
it's happened.
And teams have tried it. Teams have gone out and had these big off seasons where they spend $500 million on players, and then they turn the next year and they say, well, we don't have any relief pitching.
And then a team like the Rays with a whole payroll that's less than Alex Rodriguez.
And they find a way to win. So that's the beauty of baseball in particular. Other sports, you can have one guy, a LeBron or a Sidney Crosby, who leads your team. But in baseball, you got to have the full 25-man roster. You need your 5 starting pitchers. You need your full bullpen. You need your full lineup. If you don't have all those pieces, you're not going anywhere. So that's the beauty of baseball and why I love the game so much. And I think why guys like you love the game so much.
Exactly. Now, do they still have where they pass down the balls to be signed?
The buckets, yeah, the buckets over the dugout, dropping the buckets in. It's one of the quirks and the real fun points of McCoy Stadium is that you have these traditions that exist, and people they love this ballpark and they love the tradition.
Well, that's tradition. That's tradition since what, 75, I guess. 1975?
Since
73?
Since the, I would say since the 70s, since the Red Sox affiliation, really, it's been an integral part. So, what's the Fiddler on the Roof quote about, what are we without our traditions? Well, that's baseball. Baseball is full of traditions, and that's a great one with us at the Paw Sox.
And I've been to almost every opening day, and I interview people, talk to people, and get them going. I'll get them. Put a camera on people. My God, they
we
go
love
crazy.
that, yeah.
And there's so many people from Massachusetts and Connecticut that
Yeah.
come to that ballpark.
There are. I mean, because we're, when you think about it, we're at the sort of the northeast corner of the state, and we looked at the statistics. We actually get, last year, I think, we got 48% of our fans from outside of Rhode Island. So,
Wow, that's amazing.
It is, but it shows that, we are a Rhode Island team, certainly. We've been here. We've been a crucial part of Rhode Island, but we also get people from other places who come here from the South Shore of Massachusetts, from, the Blackstone Valley corridor, from up to Worcester, really. We get people coming down to us. So we need to take care of anyone who comes and reach out to both fans in Rhode Island and outside Rhode Island. And, this is a regional treasure that we have on our hands, and we need to take care of it and treat it as such.
Now, are they committed to staying here for at least till the year 2020? Is that
Yeah, I
correct?
mean, we have a lease with the state of Rhode Island to be at McCoy Stadium, and so we're there. We're working hand in hand with the mayor of Pawtucket, Don Grebian, who's been terrific to deal with the state of Rhode Island. So we're working hand in hand with those folks, and we have a lease to be in the ballpark. So we're working well. We've recently announced a study, actually, with the city and with the state to study McCoy Stadium and to really kind of dig deeply into the ballpark, to see what needs to be done as far as upgrades and renovations and what it would
can
cost.
be done,
What
yeah.
can be done. Honestly, you've got to go in any ballpark and sort of look at the bones of the ballpark, the structure, the pipes, the things that might not be, sexy, but it's important if you're going to run a successful ballpark. So we need to go into it, look at the ballpark in earnest, take a deep look at things and say, okay, this is what can be done, this is what can't be done, this is what it might cost, and then work with our elected officials to do what's right and see what happens at the ballpark.
Do you know that has what does McCoy Stadium have in common with Michigan Stadium and Notre Dame?
Whew.
They were both built the same year,
Really?
and they were built for the same amount of money.
Wow.
A 55,000 seat
That's amazing,
stadium
yeah.
and a 60-something thousand seat stadium.
The gigantic stadiums in the Midwest and McCoy Stadium. That's amazing.
As
Wow.
the story goes, they poured all the pilings for the stadium on a Friday, and they come back Monday, they were gone.
Wow.
They sunk in the quicksand.
I've heard that story, and I think a truck got stuck in the quicksand at one point too and got pulled down. That's amazing, and it just shows, again, these ballparks have great history, and to hear about how they're built and how they come up and come to be, it's fascinating stuff.
Well, because it cost a fortune to build that stadium.
Yeah.
What does it hold now? 10,000?
10,000, yeah, 10,000 is the capacity, so
Well,
yeah.
think of Michigan and think of Notre Dame.
Wow, the big house and
Same amount of money.
touchdown Jesus, my goodness.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I've been there too. I did a show
Great,
there actually.
Great stadiums, that's amazing.
So what are you expecting? What do you got going on? What do you got going on the rest of the year?
Yeah,
Here we are. It's July.
July, yeah.
Half a season to go.
We
just
do,
about.
yeah. I mean, we're right in the thick of a good race in our league. Our division is a really strong division. We have a bunch of good teams in the division we play. Scranton is really strong this year. Lehigh Valley is really strong. So I think you're going to see a team that plays hard down the stretch. We've got some really good prospects coming up through the Red Sox system too, who we might see this year, we might see early next year. But there are some really good, interesting players coming up through the Red Sox system. Yohan Moncada, who's a great young second baseman, Andrew Benintendi, a really good outfielder. So we might see some of these prospects on the field. And then off the field, we're going to do some fun things with the rest of the season. We have, like I mentioned, the Hall of Fame night coming up on July 29th.
Right.
July 30th, we have a Xander Bogaerts bobblehead giveaway, which is always very, very
Wow,
popular. Those
yeah.
bobbleheads are huge. And then the following
How does
weekend,
that work out?
we have bobbleheads and we give them out.
You just
to
give
the
them
first,
out?
to the first, I think, 3,000 fans who come to the game. So very, very popular items. So we have that coming up next weekend, and then the following weekend, August the 5th and 6th, we have fireworks shows. So a fireworks show on Friday night
Really?
the 5th, which is going to be a 1960s music night. So you'll play Beatles and you'll play Rolling
August-
Stones.
August 5th?
Friday, August 5th. And then Saturday, August 6th, we have a superheroes fireworks night. So you'll have...
What do you mean superheroes?
You'll hear, the Superman music or the Batman music, and you'll have kids and even adults, I guess, dressed up as superheroes that night. So it's a superheroes night at the ballpark. So fun stuff like that, where you have fireworks, you have giveaways, you have things that just make people excited to come out and join us and take part in the Paw Sox experience.
Wow.
A lot of
you,
cool
you
stuff.
sound like you're enjoying yourself.
So
over
far,
there.
so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's been fun. We have a good crew, as I mentioned. Mike Tamburo and Bill Wanless and Mike Gwynn. Great veteran guys there.
Right.
And we've joined.
And Mike Lyons.
And Mike Lyons. Oh, Mike, Toys for Tots.
My good friend.
He is, a fountain of wisdom and has, so many great stories and connections and does such good work with Toys for Tots. So, guys like Mike Lyons, they have these roots in Rhode Island that are so deep. And so to have people like that in your front office and to learn from them, it's a really great opportunity for us.
Yeah, and I miss going over there, and I always would interview almost every year.
Well, let's get you back over there. Let's find a game, bring you over, and we'll do something over there at the ballpark at some point soon.
Yeah, we used to have a lot of fun over there, especially with Mike Tamburo and Ben.
Ben.
Yeah, Ben wouldn't drive at night. He would not go out. He would not go out at night. I had to go over there to interview him. He would never
was a
come
character.
over here.
I only met him once or twice when I was with the Red Sox, but the stories that you hear about Ben and his personality, but also his generosity and his spirit. I mean, he was a good man. So we're looking forward to inducting him posthumously into the Paw Sox Hall of Fame and celebrating the titanic role he played in Paw Sox history.
Yeah. Now, you still have the murals on the walls going
We
up
do.
the stairs, right?
We still have
Going up
those.
The runway there.
Yeah, one of the great things about Paw Sox baseball and McCoy is all the history on the walls. So we still have that, and like I said earlier, it's celebrating your history and realizing what great traditions we have and how lucky we are to have them.
Now, you don't do any more with the Red Sox, the Boston Red Sox coming down here and playing.
No, we haven't in recent years. The challenge is that we can't play games against the Red Sox during the season, so it would have to be something before the season.
Really?
The way you'd have to do it is if the Red Sox were, let's say, starting the season at Fenway, you could potentially try to do something. The problem is most years the Red Sox in recent years have played on the road to start the season.
Yes.
They go to Cleveland or they go to Texas or they go to Oakland.
Right.
So you need a year where the team is going straight back north from spring training. We'd love to have the Red Sox and the Paw Sox play. That would be a great guaranteed sellout and something that could be very cool if we could make it happen again.
Well, one year I was on the field and taking pictures and doing video, and my nephew throws, I hear my name, Uncle Bob, and I look up, my nephew throws a ball down to me. So I take the ball and I go in the dugout of the Boston Red Sox. And every Boston Red Sox signed that.
That's awesome.
Except Lee, what the heck is his name? His name is Lee, was his last name.
Bill Lee?
No, not Bill Lee.
When was he? 90s, 80s, 70s?
Big, tall, big, rugged black guy. He was a good pitcher, great
Lee,
pitcher.
first name or last name?
I think that was his first name.
Lee Smith?
Lee Smith, that was
Lee
his
Smith,
name.
big relief pitcher, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to get you the autograph from Lee Smith.
He wouldn't sign it, but that was the year Boddicker went with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And I leaned over to Boddicker and I said to him, I'm a big Oriole fan. And Bob Stanley turned to Lee and he goes, sign the man's ball. And he took a bat and he was like this, like holding me at bay with the bat. I don't know, he had a bad day or
I
something.
guess so. Maybe blew the save or
So
something.
I got it signed by everybody except him. Even the coaches signed it. And
Yeah.
I go out, and my nephew is up there waiting. So I throw the ball up to him, and some kid grabbed the ball.
That's amazing.
They had a fight over the ball because it was
Fighting
signed
over,
by
yeah,
everybody.
It's a great, valuable ball. Yeah, wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And that was when they had Boggs was the third baseman.
Yeah.
They had some great players on that
They
team.
really did. Yeah, some legendary names. Absolutely.
But you can almost be guaranteed. If you go to a Pawtucket Red Sox game, you can almost be guaranteed that you're going to see someone that's going to be in the majors
That's
very
the beauty
soon.
of it. We
Very
use
soon.
the marketing tagline, catch a rising star. So
Right.
you can catch a rising star. You can go and you can see, 2 years ago you go to a game, you see a lineup with Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, and Jackie Bradley Jr. Nowadays you go and you maybe see guys who are going to be at the Red Sox in 2 or 3 years or maybe just next month. So it's a very cool place to go.
But not only that, you might catch a guy that's rehabbing, coming
That
down
too.
here.
We've had plenty of guys. We had Brock Holt recently came down. He was recovering from a concussion, and he came down and played great ball. So we have a great product, which is certainly helped by the fact that we sometimes have great guys coming down from the Red Sox.
Yeah. Again, folks, it's the best deal in sports. Still to this day, I don't know anything that you pay as little and get as much.
Good value
for your money's worth.
You couldn't have said it any better. Good pitch, man.
Thank you for stopping by, and we will be by. We will be by.
Please do, Bob.
Right here in Pawtucket. Pawtucket Red Sox since I think is it 95 or 90? I mean 75 or 73. I can't remember the year that they started.
They started, I think, 73, I believe.
Yeah,
Been a
73.
great affiliation.
Nice affiliation. Great affiliation with Pawtucket, and hopefully they'll stay here for a while. Maybe they'll rebuild the whole complex at some point, and we'll have a really beautiful complex here in Pawtucket. Well, say hi to your dad, and I got to get your dad down here. I want to get your dad on my show. Tell him I'm a big fan.
Sounds great, Bob.
Okay, folks, we'll be right back on An Hour with Bob. Stay with us.
It's been said that the wars of the 21st century may well be fought over water. The Earth's population has more than doubled over the last 50 years, and the demand for fresh water to drink and to grow food has surged along with it. But sources of water, like rainfall, rivers, streams, reservoirs, certainly haven't doubled. So where is all that extra water coming from? More and more, it's being pumped out of the ground. Water experts say groundwater is like a savings account, something you draw on in times of need. But savings accounts need to be replenished, and there is new evidence that so much water is being taken out, much of the world is in danger of a groundwater overdraft. California is entering its fourth year of a record-breaking drought. Last year was the driest since the state started keeping records more than 100 years ago. And yet, pay a visit to California's Central Valley, and out of that parched land, you'll see acre upon acre of corn, almond trees, pomegranates, tomatoes, grapes, and what makes them all possible, water. Where do you get water in a drought? You take it out of the savings account. Groundwater.
We're talking about surface water, we're talking about lakes and rivers, okay? When we're talking about groundwater, we're really talking about water below the water table.
Jay Famiglietti, an earth sciences professor at the University of California, Irvine, is a leading expert on groundwater.
It's like a sponge. It's like an underground sponge.
He's talking about the aquifers where groundwater is stored, layers of soil and rock, as he showed us in this simple graphic, that are saturated with water and can be drilled into, like the 3 wells shown here. You can actually pump it out of the crevices.
Imagine like trying to put a straw into a sponge. You could actually suck water out of a sponge. It's a very similar process.
Sucking the water out of those aquifers is big business these days in the Central Valley. Well driller Steve Arthur is a very busy man.
All the farmers, they don't have no surface water. They've got to keep these crops alive. The only way to do that is to drill wells, pump the water from the ground.
So it's either drill or go out of business?
Yes.
So there's something of a groundwater rush going on here. Arthur's 7 rigs are in constant use, and his waiting list is well over a year. And because some wells here are running dry, he's having to drill twice as deep as he did just a year or 2 ago. This well will cost the farmer $250,000 and go down 1,200 feet, about the height of the Empire State Building.
Are you and are the farmers worried that by going that deep, you are depleting the groundwater?
Well, yes, we are depleting it, but on the other hand, what choice do you have? This is the most fertile valley in the world. You can grow anything you want here. If we don't have water to grow something, it's going to be a desert.
He said many farmers think the problem is cyclical, and that once the drought ends, things will be okay.
Oh, we're back. Oh, thank you. Welcome to An Hour with Bob. How are we doing? We're doing all right? I was just looking at the Time magazine, the gut check, and look who's the centerfold in Time magazine this week. Look at that. Who's that guy? They had a little bit of a bad day today because of last night. His wife, I thought she was flawless, but apparently she did some plagiarizing, but I don't think that she even knew that she was plagiarizing. I think somebody should have been fired for that one. My God. I know, and I've been in a lot of elections over the years, and none that big, but somebody made a boo-boo like that, they'd be out really quick. Well, we're back to Miss Outstanding Teen Rhode Island, Kate, how you doing?
Good, how are
Kate
you?
DePetro, nice to see you.
Good to see you again.
Wait a minute now. When's the last time I saw you?
I believe it was 2 years ago.
No way.
I think so, 2 years
No, it's been
ago.
2 years?
I think, yes, either a year and a half or two.
When you were here?
And the last time I was here.
It's been that long.
Yeah, it's, I know,
Wow.
crazy. And then the first time I was here, I was in 6th grade. So I remember that was 5, 6, 7
Oh,
years
so many
ago.
years ago,
It was a
huh? That
long
was
time
forever,
ago.
huh? Yeah. So how you doing? Congratulations, by the
Thank
way.
you. Thank you so much. It's been really busy. It's been a busy summer, but I'm really excited. I leave for nationals in less than a week for Miss America's Outstanding Teen.
And that's in Orlando?
That's in Orlando, Florida, yes.
Wow.
Yes, that should be very fun. I haven't been to Orlando in a very long time, so it'll be good
It'll
to be back.
warm.
It'll be very hot.
It'll be warm. I don't understand some of these pageants, by the way. They had a pageant, a Miss or Mrs. America pageant a couple years ago in Arizona in July or August.
Yeah, it's very hot.
What are you thinking about here? You know?
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, Orlando's very nice, very family friendly, so
Right.
I'll be excited to be there for just about over a week and hanging out and meeting all the other girls from around the country. So
Now, every
it'll be a lot
state
of fun.
has one, right?
Every state has one girl, yes.
Do they also have the properties like Samoa and all that, and the Philippines and not the Philippines?
We have Puerto Rico,
Puerto Rico.
joining us. Yes, Puerto Rico will be there. Last year was Virgin Islands. This year's Puerto Rico.
Right.
So that will also be really interesting to meet her. I've never met anybody from Puerto Rico, so that will
No?
be exciting. No.
Oh, I've been to Puerto Rico. I'll bet you 12 times.
Really?
12 times.
12 times.
Not only have I been there that many times, I've been there with the military a few times, and I've flown over the entire island in a Black Hawk helicopter with the doors open, videotaping. And I remember one time we were flying right over, like 300 or 400 feet above the ground, and the guy was driving his car, his convertible, and he's got his radio blasting, and he's driving in the mountains. And I yelled down to him, and the guy's like, he's looking around, looking left, looking left, looking right, looking left. I go, "Yeah, dummy, up here!" And he looks up. He almost crashed his car.
Oh no! Wow.
And I got that on videotape. So you should have a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm
in
really-
Orlando. And like you said, you meet a lot of different people, a lot of people from
Yes.
all walks of life, right?
Yes, my roommate's from Indiana. Her name's Jordan, and I just FaceTimed her last night. She's very sweet.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to finally meet her in person. It will be super fun.
Wow.
Yes, we were actually at the same taping of the Ellen DeGeneres show, which is really funny.
That's right.
Yes, she sat 2 rows behind me, so it was crazy. What are the odds of that happening? But
Now, why was she there?
she went to go see the show. She got tickets to go see Ellen and see her show. So
But you got on the show.
I was on the show. I was lucky enough to be on the show, which was
Yeah.
an amazing experience. It was
I watched that show. In fact,
Yeah.
I taped it for your father. Your father called me. He said, "Can you do me tape this thing?" Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was about 2 years ago that happened.
And then you went on a tour with the
Yes,
group. What was
with
the name
the
of that
band
group?
Imagine Dragons. I went on tour for a week with them across the country.
Right.
And they were very inspiring. They are very down to earth. They write their own songs, stay in touch with their families. They're very close with all their fans. And it was just very nice to meet people who like to do the same things I do, like be around music and entertain.
Right.
It was incredible. I loved every second
Now,
of
where'd
it.
you go? What's the town?
Well,
what
we started out
venues?
in Hollywood. They had
Hollywood, California.
they had a show in Hollywood, and then we flew to Provo, Utah, which was awesome.
Well, that's a
I
little
got to
different.
see my cousins.
From Hollywood to Provo,
Provo,
Utah.
Utah. But
my
it was
God.
beautiful. It
Yes.
was so beautiful. We were there in February, so it was snowing and all the mountains just
Well, that's all those
Hot. It was-
Christian people there. What do they call them?
the Mormons.
The Mormons.
And then we went to Las Vegas, which it was my first time.
Yeah.
And
What'd you
it's a
think of
different
Las
world.
Vegas? What'd you think of Las
I
Vegas?
loved it.
Did you really?
I loved it. It was a different world. There was so much to do. You know, a lot of people would say, you're not old enough to do anything, but I've found something to do every night, whether it was zip lining across Las Vegas or it was going on the...
Did you go on the Sphere? Did you go down?
Yes.
Did you ride that?
And I went on the highest roller coaster, the highest Ferris wheel, the high roller in Las Vegas. which was-
Wow.
There's just so much to do. You can see a show. I had so much fun there. And then we flew to Atlanta, which was awesome because on the plane ride to Atlanta, the band performed on the plane, Imagine
Nice.
Dragons. That was really exciting. I mean, how many people get to say they've seen a concert?
See the
On
concert?
a
You were in the
plane.
concert. You were in the
So
concert.
that was very, very cool.
All right, quickly, what's your platform?
So my platform is called Make a Difference, Make It Positive, Make It Today. And it's inspired by Ellen, and it's about getting teenagers and students to be more involved in their community. And basically what I do is I go to different schools and I tell them my story about how I got inspired by Ellen and my background, about what I did to get involved in my community. And then I help them find a situation in their life that they want to bring more attention to, whether that's a boy with autism, a walk for cancer, and just really encourage kids, make the change and make it now. You can make a change today.
Wow. Now, who have you met? Anybody interesting?
Yes, well, I'm actually planning a day with Governor Raimondo to make Rhode Island Positivity Day, which will be coming spring. Which camera? This one? This one?
What's this one?
This
right
one. Spring 2017, Rhode Island Positivity Day, which I'm
Really?
really excited. I've teamed
Oh,
up with
cool.
her to plan that.
Good, good.
That will be really fun. That's inspired by my platform, so we'll have a lot of fun working with that.
And the Special Olympics.
Oh, Special Olympics was a great event. I actually am the coach for the North Kingstown track team.
Oh, cool.
And we had the event this year at URI that we have every year. And I got to walk with my athletes as Miss Rhode Island Outstanding Teen. I gave one of the girls my sash, and our team proudly marched. We have the biggest team in Rhode Island, the North Kingstown
Wow.
team. And it was a fabulous event. It's a great event every year that URI and Special Olympics put on. And I just had a fabulous time being with the athletes, watching everybody walk in. We
Yeah.
had the fireworks celebration.
cool.
So
Yeah.
it's always a great event in June.
Now, how old? 16?
I'm 17.
17. You're 17. You're a very political girl for 17
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, you're going to leave us with a little Bernie Sanders.
A little Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, give me a little Bernie Sanders before I let you go. Get ready.
Thank you, Bob, for having me on this show tonight. It is an honor being here. And I'd like to give a shout out to my parents, to my family, and to my dog. Thank you and good night.
Thank you for stopping
Thank
by.
you for having me, Bob. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Kate DePetro. We'll be right back. Say that.
A monitoring well. So this is a well.
This is a well. We have a tape here that has a sensor on the end.
Oh, let me see. The Geological Survey has 20,000 wells like this across the country. It's a tape measure.
It's a tape measure.
How will you know when it's hit water?
It's going to beep.
By comparing measurements from different wells over time, they get the best picture they can of where groundwater levels stand. She unspooled and unspooled until finally, it startled me, as did the result, a 5-foot drop in just 1 month.
Right now, we're reaching water levels that are at historic lows.
Historic lows.
Right. At this site, water levels have dropped about 200 feet in the last few years.
Gathering data from holes in the ground like this has been the only way to get a handle on groundwater depletion. That is, until 2002 and the launch of an experimental NASA satellite called GRACE. What does GRACE stand for?
So GRACE stands for Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment.
Mike Watkins is head of the science division at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena. He was the mission manager for the latest Mars rover mission, and he is the project scientist for GRACE.
So the way GRACE works is it's two satellites.
Two?
They're actually measuring each other's orbit very, very accurately.
What affects that orbit is gravity.
As the first one comes up on some extra mass, an area of higher gravity, it gets pulled away from the second spacecraft.
And that's where water comes in. Since water has mass, it affects the pull of gravity. So after the first GRACE satellite approaches an area that's had lots of heavy rain, for example, and is pulled ahead, the second one gets there, feels the pull, and catches up. The instruments are constantly measuring the distance between the two.
Their changes in separation, their changes in their orbit, are a little different this month than last month because water moved around and it changed the gravity field just enough.
So GRACE can tell whether an area has gained water weight or lost it. So grace is like a big scale in the sky.
Absolutely.
Grace can also tell how much water an area has gained or lost. Scientists can then subtract out the amount of rain and snowfall, and what's left are the changes in groundwater. It's kind of brilliant to think that a satellite in the sky is measuring groundwater.
It is fantastic.
I thought it was complete nonsense. There's no way we can see groundwater from space.
Jay Famiglietti started out a skeptic, but that was before he began analyzing the data Grace sent back. The first place he looked was India. He showed us a time-lapse animation of the changes Grace detected there over the last 12 years. Note the dates on the lower right.
Oh, here we are. Thank you. And welcome back to An Hour with Bob. And I want to mention about the clip we're running is about water. And I've been talking about the water problem in this world for years. And it's getting really, really bad. And as evidenced by that clip by Leslie Stahl, there is the reporter from CBS talking about that. We got to watch our natural resources, especially water. Water and air quality are the two biggest things. Anyway,
Absolutely.
Toni, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Bob.
Toni,
Thanks for having me on again.
Beautiful as always.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Now, that dress, I love the colors, and I love the design. Is that your
Yep, this is a new Chances Are design. Yep, this is one of my new ones. And a more affordable line, because I was doing stuff that was like kind of more expensive to make. So I'm kind of using like jerseys now, which is a lot less expensive because
really?
Leather and lace and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
So how are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm doing really good.
You look great.
Oh, thank you. Thank
now,
you. So
now
do you.
Yeah,
Better
but I'm
than
telling
yeah.
the truth. Now, you got some big things happening here.
Yeah, yep. We've got some big stuff coming up.
You got a showing in where now? In England?
I'm going to be showing in London in February, in London Fashion Week.
Wow.
So it's in New York, it's like an off-Broadway, but it's like still in London. So I love London. So I'm going to be showing there, and I'm showing in the Dominican Republic in October.
Wow.
So two very different lines, though. Like, it's going to be kind of a bohemian line for Dominican Republic, summery, and then for London, it's going to be very much more like what you're used to my designs being, like more like Chanel-ish, like kind of like that. So,
right.
Yeah.
And also, you're into pictures and everything now. What
yeah,
are you doing? You're in a movie?
Yeah, I'm going to be in a movie called Randy's Canvas, and it's about a child with not a child, but he's like a 20-year-old with autism. So it's a wonderful thing to be in. I'm very excited about this project. Yeah, it's really, really
How'd you
a good
get into
project. I don't know if you know Dick LeBrew from Squib TV. I've done some things with him. We did a TV show that's actually still being edited. That's going to be out, called Elimination Society. It's kind of a quirky thing, and I've done some of guest starring on his shows, Dixter's Dishes, and all that stuff. So I got the role from him.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to go audition, and on my birthday I had to audition.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it worked though, right?
Yeah, it was really, I'm excited. I'm excited about that. Especially because my whole thing's about children in need, and having it be about an autistic child or an autistic young man is very close to my heart. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you're always as a Facebook friend.
Yeah.
You're always going to California.
Oh,
right?
I see. Yeah, I go to California a lot. Yeah.
Now tell us why you go to California.
I was actually supposed to move there December 1st. I mean, not December 1st, August 1st. I got a place out there. I already had my apartment set up, everything. But then I got the role in the movie, and the Dominican Republic came up. So I'm going to put it off, but I do have a place so I'm going to be back and forth.
Really? Where in California is it?
In Laguna Beach.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I got a parking ticket in Laguna Beach.
Oh, did you
one
really?
time.
Yeah, I love Laguna. Yeah, because Chance lives there. The little boy my line's named after.
Yes.
He lives out there in California, and so he, and I just love California. I don't want to in the winter. It's nice to be out there.
Oh yeah.
And I can do designs out there. I want to open a little shop, maybe out there at some point. But
well, you would fit right in California.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. It's my favorite place. I mean,
yeah.
Especially that part of California. And Chance being 5 minutes away is.
Now, how did you meet Chance?
I saw Chance was on a TV show called Little People, Big World, and he was being adopted. They were doing a mission to help kids in need, and this one, because he's a dwarf, he's a little, you can say it's dwarfism. So he was being adopted, and I just saw the show, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm in love with this child. I have to know this child. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but we got a hold of him, got a hold of his family. and I've been in his life now for 9 years,
Right.
going on 10 years now. And my line is named after him. I have a foundation to help children in need after him, and I've gone to California at least 55 times
Oh,
to see
God.
him. Yeah.
I didn't know it was that many, but I knew you've been there a
yeah,
lot.
No, but a lot. Because sometimes I'll go 6 times a year, sometimes or 40, maybe it's 42, or it's something like.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of times. I actually
Yeah.
lost count. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's he's an amazing little guy, and he's the
And
reason
you
I'm
stay
doing
there
all of
for
this.
what, a couple of weeks at a time?
Well, last time I stayed for I stayed for 5 weeks. The time before I was there for 2.5 months, actually. When I went in the end of August, I was there all the way until his birthday, which was the 16th of October. So I was there for a while last time, the time before this time. So it was fewer trips. But then he just came to Boston for the Little People Conference.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so he was just in Boston for that, yeah. He went to a Red Sox game, and he loved it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he did all that.
So, going back to your line now,
Mm-hmm.
what is your line? All women's clothes, right?
I was doing some women's and children. I still do a little bit of a little bit of kids stuff, but it's 99% all women's. Yeah, it's women's.
Now, is it all clothing, or is it clothing and jewelry, or what is it?
No jewelry. No,
Right.
I mean,
'Cause you
I
wear some fancy stuff.
Oh,
there.
thank you. Yeah, this is all costume stuff I got. But I was doing headpieces before, feathered headbands,
Right.
and some those kind of beaded headpieces a while back, and I just kind of went into just the fashion. It's a
Right.
it's a lot to do.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But I'm doing a new thing with my line as well, which is going to be, all ages, all sizes, all shapes. So I'm going into making my stuff plus size as well, and I've never
Right.
done that before, and I'm going to show some plus size models on the runway.
Oh,
so that's a
nice.
huge thing that I'm doing. So it's
cool.
going to be, all age groups, all ages, all
And all
size
sizes.
groups. Yeah. So
Yeah.
which is,
Oh, that's nice.
not all designers do that, but that's
Right,
what,
right. Well,
that's
I
what I'm
always
gonna do.
wondered why, some of the Miss Twiggy types, you couldn't wear who could wear the
You
clothes
can't.
anyway?
That's what it is. It's I
Yeah.
usually get more
it's-
sales on stuff when I wear something and put in a picture on there because I'm not a size 2. I have curves.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I usually sell more stuff when it's not this really teeny tiny models. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's relatable.
I
It's
guess
relatable.
we're getting rushed out of here. Are we? Are we out of time? Is that what you're telling me? 1 minute? All right. So give me 1 minute. What are you going to give me in 1 minute?
Just a pleasure. I'm glad to see you up and about. Last time it was that you were kind of incapacitated with your knee, so it's good to see
Unfortunately, I got to go in again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'll
the knee's
pray
not
for
good.
you.
Yes,
I'll pray
and
for
it was
you.
nice of you coming to see me too.
Yeah, of course, absolutely,
Yes.
anytime. Yeah,
And-
always a pleasure.
Now we're going to see you in a movie when? Any time, date?
I'm not sure we're filming. It starts filming tomorrow, so
Oh.
it's going to be filming for the next a couple of weeks. It's only going to film for a couple of weeks, but
Right.
yeah, there's. I'll put it. I'm going to post it on Facebook, so I'll let you
cool.
know when
Yeah.
exactly.
So where can
everything.
people see your line of clothes?
I'm getting a new website put up. I'm getting new pictures. I actually just did a photo shoot with David Rose last week of, so some of that stuff is going to be on the new website, some of those
All right.
designs
Well, they'll
and
see it on
everything.
my Facebook and
Yeah,
my
and I'll put it
website,
on, and I'll get the new website
Then
on
we'll
there.
get it.
so.
We'll get it to everybody.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Well, Toni, thank you for stopping by.
Oh,
Look
always
at
a
that
pleasure.
face. My God, is she beautiful?
Oh, thank you.
And folks, thank you for spending an hour with Bob. It was a good night. It was a good show, wasn't it? We all had fun.
It was awesome.
On an hour with Bob. Give me a kiss.
Thank you.
Oh, stay there.